All right, welcome to part 2 of our study, Is Premillennialism True or False? And remember that part 3 follows, which will be the end of our study. I'm William Bell, and we encourage you to visit us at www.allthingsfulfill.com. Now, does Christ reign on earth during the millennium? In the 3rd chapter of the book of Acts, the text says, "And that he may send Jesus Christ, who was preached to you before, whom heaven must receive until the times of restoration of all things." The Bible does not say that Christ was reigning on earth, but rather that the heaven must receive him until the times of restoration of all things, which God has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the age began. Acts chapter 3, verses 20 through 21. And thus Christ remains in heaven until the end of all things spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets. Does Christ reign on earth in Jerusalem to defeat all of his enemies? Now, from Acts chapter 2, when Jesus was raised up from the dead to sit at God's right hand, Peter made it very clear when he said, "For David did not ascend into the heavens," but he says himself, "The Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool." Now, is God's right hand in the literal city of Jerusalem? The Bible says he was told to sit at God's right hand where? In the heavens, till I make your enemies your footstool. Now, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 25 and 26, how long would that last? The Bible says, "For he must reign till he has put all enemies under his feet." The last enemy that will be destroyed is death. And thus Christ reigns until he destroys all enemies. He reigns from heaven, not on earth. Thirdly, are the righteous raptured first? In the parable of the tares, Jesus is explaining this parable of the owner who sowed in his field, and then his servants come to him and ask him, "Who sowed the tares?" And so he said to them, "An enemy has done this." The servant said to him, "Do you want us then to go and gather them up?" In other words, they wanted to take out the tares and leave the wheat in the field. What was the response? He said, "No." Why did he say no? "Lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them." And so therefore he says, "Let both grow together until the harvest." Now, does that sound like some are raptured out of the world before the harvest? No, he says, "Let both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, first, gather the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn." So it was the tares that are gathered first, not the wheat. Now, let's look at the explanation of the parable given by Christ himself. He says, "The field is the world, the good seeds are the sons of the kingdom, but the tares are the sons of the wicked one. The enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, not the rapture, but the end of the age, and the reapers are the angels. Therefore, as the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of this age. The Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all things that offend and those who practice lawlessness. Those are the wicked, and will cast them into the furnace of fire. There will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father." That happens after the wicked are taken. So the righteous are not taken first. It is the wicked. Now, we encourage you to watch part 3 now, and we will finish up the study on Is Premillennialism True or False?